Hello everyone, I'm back again with Dragon Ball Z Rewrite. This part will go into the training the Z Fighters did, and keeping it short, Raditz Saga did really well, so thank you everyone for the support. And this part will have some major changes, so let's get right into it. After the remaining Z Fighters on Earth got contacted by Kami, they all prepared to head over to Kami's lookout to train. Before everyone left the site, Bulma picks up the scouter left by Raditz, inspecting the technology on it. This advanced alien technology might be useful, she thought. She then looked around and saw the blown up space pod Raditz arrived in. She heads over to it and inspects it. It's pretty banged up, but it's not totally destroyed. She then pulls out a capsule and throws it on the space pod. It then disappears in a puff of smoke before Bulma picks it up and leaves. A couple minutes later, Tien, Krillin, Chaozu, and a recently healed Yamcha were about to fly up to the Kami's lookout, until an invisible force sent them plummeting towards the ground. Oh yeah, before they can train, they'd have to go through the trials to reach you, meaning no flying and they have to climb all the way up. So that they did. After a while, they reached Korin's tower and Korin and Yajirobe were waiting. The latter having already climbed the tower since he was a regular there. The group trained with him for a bit, and after that, they all drank the Ultra Divine Water, which caused them a lot of pain but boosted their power quite a bit. They resumed climbing soon after, and a couple of hours later, reached Kami's lookout. Now this climb was way harder since the distance was much farther, and the air grew thin up there. But they pushed through and eventually made it up, with Tien being the first, followed by Krillin, then Yajirobe, Yamcha, and lastly, Chaozu. It was pretty much the evening when they got there, so they rested and began their training the next day. Now, let's talk about their power levels. Tien is at 320, more than in canon, because Tien kept training in this timeline, and he trained a bit more, a bit better, so yeah. Krillin is at a power level of 206, Yamcha at 177, Yajirobe at 195, and Chaozu at 160, the same as canon. Tien was excited. He knew that Goku got a lot stronger from training with Kami, so he hoped to get a lot stronger from this. But he wondered, would it be enough? Even with 3 years of training, Goku only grew about 50% stronger, more than he did, but he and the rest would be dealing with enemies far stronger than Raditz, who was nearly 5 times stronger than himself. And as he was pondering this, Kami grabbed all of their attention and started speaking. Now, I know you all have your questions and doubts, but I assure you all, you'll grow far stronger than you can imagine. Let's not waste any more time and begin our training. Suddenly, Mr. Purple snaps his fingers as an invisible barrier that surrounded the lookout starts disappearing, exposing the outside conditions to the fighters. They then started gasping for air, realizing that the air is incredibly thin this high. This is your first training. You'll be increasing your stamina and endurance, allowing you to better manage your energy in a fight. What? Goku went through this? Yes, he did. However, I only taught him the basics and helped him conquer his spirits. This training will be much harsher. And so, they spent the whole day getting used to the air and sparring each other. As the afternoon arrives, Mr. Purple seals off the lookout, allowing the group to breathe properly again. Now for your lessons, you'll be taught about your ki. This includes ki control, spirit control, and your ki affinity. Ki affinity? What's that? We'll get into that later. For now, start meditating. Calm your body and mind. Extinguish any unnecessary thoughts and let your energy flow around you like water. And so, the group started meditating. For Tien and Chaozu, they were quite natural for it. Krillin struggled a bit but soon got the hang of it, while Yamcha and Yajirobe struggled the most with it. After an hour of this, most of them were able to get the hang of it, with Yajirobe getting too bored of it and just going to eat. Now, spread your ki evenly around your bodies, making sure to coat all parts. Without opening their eyes, a thin white glow covered their bodies, signifying they have done it. Good. Now increase the amount of ki you're supplying, and then release your ki, like releasing a dam to let out a reservoir of water. The group listen on, trying to do as he says, and one by one, they all burst out their auras, each of them able to feel the heat of the others. They felt as if their bodies were energized, even slightly stronger. Good. Now open your eyes while remembering to hold this output. The group obliges to this. Alright, everyone stand up. Chotsu, Krillin, and Yamcha, dissipate your auras and come to me. Tien, you stay in your place. The group looks confused but follows his orders anyways. Mr. Popo then nods before saying, Ki is made up of 3 components: Genki, or energy, Yuki, courage, and Shoki, mind. Ki is directly affected by these components. Lacking in one area weakens the others, resulting in weaker energy output. The group nod at the explanation before continuing. The 3 of you, observe. Tien, I want you to power up to your maximum. Tien nods before releasing all of his strength. Tien's aura then explodes outwards, causing the group to get pushed back a little. A gale force of ki envelops Tien as slight crackles of energy emanate from him. The group look on in awe at the display. This is called aura. It increases your physical output, energy output, and reaction. You can also determine your ki affinity through aura. Tien, your aura is powerful. You have strong Genki, which translates to high ki output. You also have good Yuki and Shoki. Thank you, Mr. Popo, Tien says. No, dissipate your aura and come to me. Yamcha, it's your turn. Alright, I'm excited for this, Yamcha explained before walking out and performing what Tien did. This time, his aura expands out like a wave and seems to stop at an invisible edge. He is surrounded by a bubble-like aura of ki. Huh? It's different, Krillin says. Yes, everyone has different ki affinity. Most people have slight differences, while some have drastic changes. Yamcha, your aura signifies your extraordinary ki control. You're able to naturally bend your ki at will. Ki control is closely related to your mind. Yamcha, this means that you understand yourself better than most. Other than that, you have average Genki and Yuki. Chotsu, it is now your turn. Yamcha walks back as Chotsu goes up next. He powers up as a smaller sized aura expands out. His body then suddenly gains a faint blue colored mist-like aura, surprising the group a little as Mr. Popo explains. Chotsu is a rare, natural-born psychic. Psychic power comes from the mind. They are able to control objects at their will and coat their ki around them to use them for offense. While normal people are able to learn psychic power, naturals are able to use it far more easily. Chotsu, while Genki and Yuki may be lacking, you have exceptional Shoki. While you can't get as strong as the others physically, learning ki and psychic powers are your strong suit. Focus on these aspects. Okay, I'll do just that, Chotsu says. Well, I guess it's my turn, Krillin says as he walks in front and powers up like the rest of them. His aura bursts out like a popping balloon, forming a medium-sized aura around him. His aura has sharp jagged peaks and revolves around him like a chainsaw. Interesting. Krillin, your aura signifies that you excel at sharpening your ki. You're able to sharpen your ki to make lethal weapons such as blades. This is a subtype of Genki. While not as rare as psychics, a strong affinity for it would make you a dangerous opponent in battle. Other than that, while you have strong Genki and good Shoki, you lack Yuki. Better yourself in that aspect. Oh, thanks, Mr. Popo, Krillin says while looking a bit dejected. After that, they continue with their ki lessons as the sun sets below the horizon. Alright, so I wanted to expand out ki a little more as a magic system because it honestly has a lot of potential that the original never really built up upon. Instead, focusing more on huge beams and rapid fire ki blasts. So I stepped up to make that change, and I hope you guys like it. Let's continue. And so, they began their training to prepare for the fight in 1 year. They first sparred with each other while trying to manage their breathing. Once they got used to it, Mr. Popa began adding weight to their bodies, slowly increasing it as they got stronger. They trained in the morning and then were taught ki and spirit control to help them with using ki, and were only allowed to take off their weights when they were going to sleep. Yajirobe was a bit annoyed at this, but they threatened to cut off his supply to senzu beans if he didn't train. Meanwhile, what a surprise! Even after all of that, even after that wound, he's still breathing ever so slightly. What resilience! He then threw a capsule from Capsule Corp onto Raditz, capturing him. It seems Goku's body has been taken away, which made him a bit disappointed. But that's fine. This just means he'll be the one to kill him next time. A month passes, as we haven't seen Goku and Piccolo in a while, so let's check up upon them. Goku is currently running on Snake Way as he ponders who this King Kai guy is gonna be. I hope this King Kai guy will be able to make me strong enough to fight the Saiyans, and I wish my friends on Earth can get super strong so I can fight them too, Goku says in his mind. Right after that though, his stomach rumbles as he thinks about food after. He eats a senzu bean and continues running the 1 million kilometer long path. Piccolo on the other hand is currently meditating on the pillar top. A scream goes off in the distance as trees can be seen rustling as if a huge beast was moving from within. He opens an eye to see what's happening and then smirks when an explosion goes off in the forest. Meanwhile, Bulma is fidgeting with the scouter a bit. A month ago, she managed to turn on the scouter and was able to listen in on the Saiyans' conversation and their plan to conquer Earth for the Dragon Balls. She proceeded to scream at the both of them from the scouter, which surprised the both of them. They then laughed and told her that she wouldn't be able to do anything about it. She turned it off and could sense the group training at Kami's lookout. She could also sense a smaller power level in some forest far away. This thing is pretty handy at seeing power. Now, she's thinking of what she should do with Raditz' ship, now that she re-engineered the scouter. Now 10 months into training, the four human warriors were standing inside of a room full of clocks of all different shapes and sizes. This is the pendulum room. This room allows people to travel back in time to past events. However, this is only in the mind, as altering past events will not change the future, and dying in one will send the person back into the room. However, all pain and experiences will still be felt. So, for the next 2 months, you'll be gaining experience by battling Saiyans of the past, and also to learn how to work together in a group in case one person isn't enough. Am I clear? The group nodded this, and so proceeded to go back in time. And it doesn't go well for them. They faced off against Pumpkin and Bronco, or Scarface and Shorty. Terrible names. Mid-class Saiyans both have power levels of 3000. Safe to say, they got obliterated. Brutal. This left the group dejected for a while. However, they reluctantly went in for another go, now prepared to face them off. They were going to use teamwork to defeat them. As soon as they appeared, they got caught off guard by 2 Donan rays fired by Tien and Chaozu. Then they were held in place by telekinesis as Yamcha repeatedly hit them with his spirit ball. However, the Saiyans quickly broke out of the bind and were about to rush at them, but they were then hit with a Kamehameha, creating a huge explosion. If they can't beat them with hand-to-hand combat, then they'll just keep their distance. Suddenly though, a beam is shot through the smoke, hitting Yamcha in the chest. He collapses as one of the Saiyans grabbed Chaozu, trying to melt his skull. But his arm is then sliced off by a keyblade that was made by Krillin. It's still a little wonky and unstable, but he's getting the hang of it. He didn't realize how much energy he used though. The Saiyan screams in pain as multiple Dodan rays are fired at the Saiyan from Tien, who's enraged that they attacked Chaozu again. He then tries to finish off the Saiyan with the Tri-Beam, but then the other Saiyan jumps up from behind him. As he was about to grab Tien, Chaozu was able to paralyze him in the nick of time. Tien thanks him and jumps back, aiming to catch both of them in the blast. He then fires an enormous yellow beam of energy, vaporizing the two Saiyans. The group cheer on as they got sent back to the pendulum room. Yamcha, who was the unfortunate casualty, congratulated them. Kami and Mr. Popo did as well, but this was just level 1. So now, for the next 2 months, they went into the room and battled Saiyans and other warriors. Once, they were in the midst of war, where they helped a group of 5 Saiyans who were fighting an army of Saiyans. Next, they fought a giant ape, which definitely jogged their memories on how Saiyans could transform. Then, they fought some weird bug creatures, then an alien invasion, and just a lot of weird stuff. They did have a nice one where they got to rest a little. It was one where they met the great master, Utaito, and he taught them martial arts, but now it was nearly time. 2 weeks before the arrival of the Saiyans, Tien was in a very good mood. I'm not even 50% stronger than Raditz. How am I gonna beat those damn Saiyans? Even though teaming up is effective against those dumb brutes, they were millennia ago. Who knows how strong these two could be, and they could be way smarter. Damn it, is my power really enough? Kami, sensing Tien's worries, asked Tien what's wrong. Tien then turns to Kami and asks, is there any other way to get stronger? Kami replies, unfortunately, that's all we could offer. But then, a thought comes to mind. Although, there is one way. The group, plus Yajirobe, are now standing in front of a door. So, what is this place? You never told us about this place, Krillin asks. This is the Room of Spirit and Time. It's a place where time flows differently compared to the outside. Inside, 1 year equates to 1 day on the outside. Wait, so you could get a year's worth of training in 1 day? Yamcha exclaims. Precisely. However, it is a very inhospitable room that could easily wear down your mind. It also requires an immense amount of food that we cannot provide for 5 people. So unfortunately, we can only allow 2. I've got an idea. Why not just ask Bulma? She's got all the money in the world, right? Krillin objects. Brilliant idea, Krillin, Kami says. Yamcha, could you contact Bulma for us? Krillin asks. Yamcha hesitates, but yeah, sure, Yamcha says, before pulling out his phone and calling her. After about 10 minutes of awkward conversation and the occasional yelling, Yamcha gives the OK signal while looking exhausted. An hour later, Bulma arrives with tons of capsules inside of a box. I emptied many stock supplies for this, so you guys better beat those Saiyans. The group thanked her before she started walking back into her aircraft. As she was about to enter though, she suddenly thought of an idea she wanted to do. She then pulled out her scouter and asked them if she could scan their power levels, now that it's nearly time. They took this as opportunity to compare themselves to Raditz and complied. They all then raised their power levels to the maximum as she scanned their powers. She's then taken a little aback by their power. This is their power levels pre-time chamber. Tien is at power level 2200, Krillin is at power level 2130, Yamcha 1780, Chaozu at 800, while Yajirobe at 1150. This is because they all drank the Ultra Divine Water, which made them a bit stronger right off the bat, and they were doing way better training on the lookout, so it was only natural that they were gonna be a bit stronger. Krillin was only 206 the last time he scanned him. He's over 10 times stronger now. Yeah, we did some serious training up here, Krillin says, laughing while scratching the back of his head. But it's not enough. That's why we are gonna be training in that room over there, Tien says. Yeah, that Vegeta guy, the so-called Prince of all Saiyans, said that Raditz was an ant compared to him, Bulma explains. She wishes them luck before flying off. Now, Bulma has supplied them with 6 months worth of food for 5 people, since Kami said that Goku barely lasted a month in there when he was a kid, so they're gonna be in for a real ride. Kami wishes them luck before they enter the chamber as 6 months of training commences. 12 hours later, in the middle of the night, the door of the chamber opens. The group walk out being very worn and tired. Kami greets them, immediately feeling their immense growth in power. They then rest and take a bath before immediately going to bed, exhausted. The next day, Bulma comes back to the lookout, wanting to check on their results now that the group is fully rested up. They first talked to her and they literally told her the gravity chamber was hell. The gravity was heavy, the environment changed all around them, their air felt toxic, nothing describes it better than plain hell. They didn't think anyone would be able to last 6 months alone in that place. She sweats a little, but gets to the main course. She now scans their power levels. Tien is at power level of 4,500, Krillin at 4,260, Yamcha at 3,560, Chaozu at 1,500, and Yajirobe at 2,000. He got a bit lazy. They all got pretty much a 2 times boost, except maybe Yajirobe and Chaozu. Oh yeah, they definitely got stronger. They're confident in taking down at least one of the Saiyans. They then sensed a power flying over and immediately realized that was Piccolo. Piccolo, who is carrying Gohan, soon lands and walks up to them angry. "All of you, too strong! Explain now!" Piccolo asks angrily. "What? Scared of us now, big guy?" Yamcha taunts. Bulma scans Piccolo's power level, which only read to 3,500. "Use the time chamber," Tien says. The group look at him in shock, asking him what he's doing. "We're going to need all the help we can get. Besides, we all have a common enemy," Tien explains. Piccolo smirks, thanking Tien. It was a surprise since he didn't give any snide remark on it or anything. It seemed pretty genuine. "But," Tien adds, "Gohan stays here." Piccolo turns around and looks at him. Their gazes meet, both of them unwavering. But then, Piccolo closes his eyes and turns back around. "Fine." He then begins to walk towards the room. "I wasn't planning on anyway," Piccolo adds. "Wait, aren't you gonna need food or something?" Krillin asks. "I don't need food to survive. I only need water," Piccolo answers. He then opens the door to the room and slams it shut behind him. "Well, that was unexpected," Krillin says, a sweat drop falling. 2 weeks later, Krillin was watching the news when suddenly he felt an entire city get wiped. He grimaces as he dons his orange gi and walks out of Kami's house. "Is it time, Krillin?" Roshi asks. "It's time," Krillin replies. "You see how easily I wiped that city?" A large bald Saiyan says, laughing. "Yes, very impressive, Nappa," a short, spiky-haired Saiyan replies. The short Saiyan then senses 5 power levels on his scouter. "The defenders have arrived," the short one says, smirking, before all 5 of them land in front of them, preparing a battle stance. Alright folks, that's all for this part. The same preparation arc is an arc that I created myself to help expand on the Dragon Ball world a bit more. Because I think Ki has so much potential, but all we ever see of it nowadays are just Ki waves and Ki blasts pretty much. So I invented an affinity system. While it's not perfect, it will be used to expand upon the characters in the story. And just a bit of extra info, most Saiyans will automatically have high amounts of Genki or energy, which makes them effective at using powerful Ki attacks. Other than that, Yuki or Mind helps with Ki control, while Shoki or Courage is typically used in tandem with Shoki, as having low courage disrupts your Ki flow, making it hard for you to use Ki while being panicked, for example. Besides that, I also improved upon the training at Kami's lookout, as in canon, Kami literally told the group that he taught Goku nothing. I like gags and jokes every now and then, but this was just pretty irritating, honestly. But alright, that's enough of that. Thank you everyone for waiting this long, and some of you might be disappointed that it wasn't the Saiyan saga, but it's coming next part, so hopefully everyone enjoyed this part. Like the video or support me in any other way, and I will see you guys next time on Dragon Ball Z Rewrite.